up, my people, and welcome back to the Ricardo Reports National Review, powered by Football University. I'm your official voice of youth and high school sports, Chad Ricardo, and today we got quite a show for you. In just a moment, I'm going to be checking in with Joe Trimble all the way up there in Michigan, but first, bringing on the czar of high school football. You know him as the National Recruiting Director for the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. I like to call him my dear friend, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Richards. Eric, thank you for joining the show again today, brother.
Chad, what's happening, man? Good to be back on. I didn't think you were going to get back around to me.
You know we got to spread the love amongst the All-American Games family.
That's a big family.
Indeed it is, my brother. The Army All-American Bowl. This game matches the best of the best across the nation, and not just in games but also in practices, really the entire week long. From that perspective, would you say that this is a natural segue as student athletes go from high school onto their next step in college ball?
The big thing is a lot of those players are leaving their Sunday, Chad, and going directly to their college with early grads now and everything. When I first got in this, you might have had 4 or 5 players that graduated early that left the bowl game and went to college. Now over half the roster. And what I've heard from the players is playing in front of 40,000 in that Alamo Dome is no different than playing in front of 100,000, where it be at Happy Valley or in Columbus or in Athens, Georgia. The players are like, the big crowd deal's over.
And to that point, many of our student athletes are going to be playing at big-time schools, Power 5 conferences. So from that perspective, do you feel as though the Army Bowl gives them a bit of a taste of what major collegiate bowl game experience is going to be like?
Our bowl week kind of prepares them once their team makes a bowl for the whole deal. There's really no big difference in going to a Rose Bowl, going to an Orange Bowl, going to any type of bowl, a Chick-fil-A bowl, and our bowl week. And that's what we kind of duplicated it and replicated it to be like.
So from that regard, the entire process really prepares the student athlete for that next step in their own individual career.
Absolutely, and that's what the intention was when we did it.
Now, if we kind of broke down the week a little bit, of course, the huge game in and of itself is on Saturday. On Friday night, there's going to be a big-time banquet. We're going to hand out Player of the Year awards amongst other awards as well. On, on Monday, the student athletes are going to get fitted for their gear, major gear. You told me about the Adidas jerseys this year that they're going to wear in the games, the stuff that even the colleges don't have yet. But Wednesday is an important day because it's a community outreach day. I know that this day is important to you. It's important to me. Why is that community outreach significant to the student athletes?
Everybody needs to come back to earth every now and then. Me more so than others. I like to try to come back to earth at least once a week. And I mean, it's easy to get out of touch with reality when you're handed a lot of things or you're provided a lot of things. Look, some of these high school programs now, Chad, when I walk into the Bishop Gormans and the Buford high schools and the Don Boscos of the world, some of their facilities are nicer than college facilities. Right. And so it's easy to get everything out of context of, hey, there's a whole nother portion of our society out there that isn't as blessed as you might be.
Correct.
And so a lot of times that week and that community outreach, it brings those. I mean, I've had players cry when they leave some of these hospitals with a child that has cancer.
Wow.
Laying there in bed. It brings you back into reality, and that from that standpoint, I think we all could benefit from getting a little taste of that every now and then, once a week, once a month. It helps to go back and get a touch of reality every now and then.
It's absolutely amazing how much we can help ourselves sometimes by helping out others. Check this out though, the Army Bowl student athletes aren't going to be the only ones down there having fun. There's going to be underclassmen at the National Scouting Combine as well. Break down their experience for me and then ultimately answer the question that all of the parents want to know: how can they get their babies invited to the combine?
That's been the question of the last 2 weeks.
Right.
Twitter, DM, how do I get an invite to the National Combine? And let's make no mistake about it, It's the number one underclassmen combine in the country. It's 600 of the top underclassmen in the country this year. That would be the 2019 and 2020 athletes. We'll average probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 2019 athletes and about 150 2020 athletes, and maybe like 5 or 10, believe it or not, 2021 athletes down there. But it's the Willy Wonka golden ticket, so to speak. And the easiest route to get there, is to get to an FBU camp, get in front of our player development reps, get in front of our selection committee, and earn an invite through the FBU camps. There's probably, out of the 600 that'll be down there, I would say over 60%, 350 of the players came through the FBU camps and were awarded their invite through the FBU camps and our Top Gun. And you saw it firsthand. You were at Top Gun. We gave away almost 200 invites to the underclassmen combine at Top Gun.
Top Gun is a heck of a time. E, we got to go to break right quick. Can I get you to hold on? I want to ask you about a couple of student athletes in particular.
What's the sponsor? Are we drinking Gatorade or what are we doing here?
I think it's just FBU camps.
Oh, okay.
It's the National Review.
1, 2, 3, FB, you know! I want to find out how good I am. Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on. I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
You are watching the National Review. I am Chad Ricardo, and joining me via satellite, the one and only incomparable Mr. Eric Richards. E, I want to ask you about a couple of student athletes in particular. I got a spoiler alert for any of you out there who have been hiding under a rock somewhere. The young man Trevor Lawrence is spectacular. He's about to break more records. E, what's he up to now?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring everybody up to date. I mean, he's obviously making a case for front runner for National High School Player of the Year. He just took down his team's 9-0. Cartersville's making a run at an unprecedented third state championship in a row here in Georgia high school football in our 4A division. His stats this year are 2,300 yards passing. He got 1 interception. He took down Deshaun Watson's record last week in passing yardage.
Correct.
And then he needs 1 to tie it and 2 to break it. They have a bye this weekend. They play a Troup County team that's 8-1 next weekend. Chances are he'll probably break it. Trevor's done everything asked of him from a leadership standpoint, and the player, and the guy still is, since that freshman loss in the state championship to Beaufort, he hasn't lost a game yet.
He's a young man. When he first came in, I wrote an article about him. It's good to see that he never disappointed. He's lived up to all of the hype and all of the potential.
Definitely, and it's not easy, going wire to wire. Number one,
right.
And a lot of, some of the services had to move Justin to number 1, and now Justin's out with a season-ending injury to his finger, and so looks like his high school career playing's over. So, Trevor mentioned to me that, it was almost a little bit of a relief that Justin jumped him after the Nike Open into number 1 and he's number 2. It made him come back with a refocused attitude, having that chip on your shoulder,
correct,
so to speak. Here he is, and he's played his way. Even if Justin was still playing, Trevor's year is pushing for National Player of the Year for sure.
And the next young man, I haven't had the opportunity to meet him personally, but some refer to him as the king of social media. Others refer to him as a rock star, but far more call him a heck of a football player. Of course, I'm talking about Brendan Radley Howes. Talk to me about him.
Look, he's been on the scene since about the 7th grade. He played on Tate Martell, the quarterback at Ohio State, the National High School Player of the Year, and Tyjon Lindsey, the young freshman at Nebraska,
correct,
played on their travel 7-on-7 team as a 7th grader. When those guys were in 8th grade playing up against high school teams. So the pylon events, the Adidas 7-on-7s and everything, here came this little bitty team led by Tate Martell. Well, Bookie was the defensive back on that team. So he's been on the radar for a while. He played in the Adidas freshman All-American game. came and did the combine last year and showed out. He's a defensive back at IMG. I think IMG is ranked number 2 in the country. And Rockstar, and I have to close his eyes because his mom has to reel him in every now and then. Brenda, she reels him in every now and then. But he was committed to Nebraska for the last 6 to 8 months and is taking his official visits as well as he should. And I think he's visiting Oklahoma this weekend and Clemson in November 18th weekend. So he's making sure that all his options are opened up. But he is super lightning quick, and he has some of the best instincts to break on the ball that I've ever been a part of. I like to compare him a lot to Jamias Williams, who's the freshman at South Carolina, who's starting for South Carolina now as a freshman. Very similar in that he played his first 2 years at Bishop Borman High School. So you know what kind of coaching he got there and what kind of level he was asked to play up to, having come through that program.
And look, I interviewed Tyjon Lindsey a couple of times in the past, so I know that stardom kind of runs in that family over there a little bit.
Yeah, he's actually from the California League that made the migration into Vegas, and with Tate and Tyjon and Speedy Naylor when they made that move over to Bishop Gorman High School.
And I gotta ask you about another young man. This kid is up for some accolades. He's up for some awards. He's repping Houston, Texas. Talk to me about Anthony Cook.
Yeah, let's not forget they play football in Texas too. Right? Anthony Cook's having a monster year for Lamar. He's a defensive back out of the Houston area. Tall, lanky kid, long limbs at like 6 foot, real long wingspan, real fluid, and he's killing it at defensive back. I'd say him, Isaac Taylor Stewart out of California, and Tyson Campbell and Patrick Surtain, the 2 corners down at American Heritage, are 4 corners in this class that I would be surprised if they don't start their freshman year in college.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Listen, if Eric Riches says it must brother. Be true.
Eric Riches,
thank you very much for joining the show today, brother.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate
Coming up,
it. And,
we're headed up to Michigan.
Joe
Trimble
down in
joins the
Naples
National
for
Review.
FBU National Championship and the course in San Antonio at the Army All-American game.
San Diego Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Denver Broncos, 2-time Super Bowl champion. FBU is for the players that want to be the best. It's for the best, being trained by the best. It's the best thing you could ever do. It's the FBU experience.
Oftentimes, the effects that football has on a community goes much deeper than the number of yards in the end zone, and the positive effects that it has on a people stretches far wider than the white lines on the field. For Flint, Michigan, this could not be more true. And for our next guest, Mr. Joe Trimble, he is a representative of all things that are right in the game. He is the Regional Director of Scouting for NSR. He is the Director of FBU National Championship Team Michigan. And recently, he has been appointed as a Player Development Scout for the All-American Games. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming Mr. Joe Trimble.
Appreciate it, Chad. Glad to be here.
Joe, I want to get you started on a sincere note, brother. You're up there in Michigan in the Flint area, to be exact. Of course, that's the site of the water crisis, amongst a few other things. They like to say that football is just a sport, but in my opinion, at times it can be a salvation. What can Football University and all the opportunities that it provides for student athletes do for Flint and the surrounding communities?
First of all, we know the city is down on a rut. And what this does, it gives our youth, our athletes, opportunities, unlimited opportunities, national exposure. It brings the eyes and the cameras to the Flint and Genesee County area, let alone it puts some of these maybe less privileged kids on the right road to hopefully getting scholarships and fulfilling their dreams and goals. And I'm just a person to try to help guide them there and open up the door. But once we do that, their talent is what will sell.
You've already shown true dedication to these student athletes. I mean, bro, let's be real here. You open up doors. You have done things such as bring student athletes to Indiana just to play on FBU national championship squads or to attend Top Gun, etc. For you personally, why is this something that's so important?
It's so important to me. I've been doing this for over 15 years, helping kids, receive scholarships and stuff. And it's just important to me to see kids fulfill their dreams, get opportunities, get the chances that maybe some of their family members didn't. My biggest goal is kids. I love kids. I love, helping them reach that. So if it takes me to drive, it takes me to pick them up, it takes me to go to their house and wake them out of the bed, I'm the type of guy that would do that. It's just my goal to see these kids of Flint, Genesee County, Michigan succeed at the highest level, because we know a lot how things is for young men in this world right now. So I'm just trying to help them fulfill their goals and succeed, and someday come back and hopefully help their families.
Brother, I'm getting goosebumps just listening to you speak, man. I love when we go beyond the sports, when we go beneath the pads, as I like to say, and speak about the young men that we're actually helping their lives like this.
I appreciate it, man. I think there's nothing more better than helping the youth, because the youth is the future, and without us as leaders, how do we expect them to succeed?
So I do want to take this to the field for just a moment, brother. Typically on a national level, when people think of big time football, they think of Florida, they think of Georgia, they think of Texas, of course they think of California. You all are doing something special out there in Michigan though. The FBU National Championship Tournament right around the corner. What can we expect from your squads out there at Team Michigan?
Well, what's going on with Team Michigan right now? Everybody's kind of heard we put it out there, Team Michigan and Team Indiana. It's teaming up. But what you expect from us is nothing but top talent. Everybody heard about us down this summer, Top Gun, South Carolina. We had AllAmerican selected, first team kids selected. So when you think of Michigan, you think of us as grinding, we hungry, we know we got the talent, we know we got the skills. We even got some top Detroit PAL teams ranked in the top 5 in the nation. So that lets you know, like I said, we got some kids right here from the Genesee County, Flint areas that was nominated as All-Americans. So we know how to grind because we know where we come from. And if you're standing in front of us, unfortunately, we're going to roll over you.
Team Michigan is on the way, huh?
Team Michigan is building. It's a work in progress, but look for us. We're coming. And hey, we expect nothing but the best.
Bro, I needed a couple of them Michigan kids in that Why I Grind video, huh? I got to reach out to you next time.
Right, yeah. hey, I'm gonna throw some names out there. You got to get Miles Rogers. You got to get Austin Anard. You got to get Elijah Anderson, man. You got to get my little mini-me, Malik Trimble.
All right.
That's some of the top kids.
That's
man.
What's up.
You got to get
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. So I'll get you out of here on this. You're going to be introducing the first ever Genesee County Player of the Year / Senior Award, of course powered by Football University and the All-American Games. You and I have spoken. I know that this is something that means a ton to the community. Why is it important to you?
Well, we have what's a Player of the Year for the state.
Correct.
But I feel like there's something that I need to do to give back to my area, give back to the kids. We've had our very first All-American kids selected out of this area last year. Everyone knows whose it is, Deron Irvin Bay, that's at Michigan. So I feel like there's a lot of hidden talent that may be just on the bubble that gets looked over at. We got 2 kids in the Genesee County area that's in that top 10 for the state. But of course, there's 1 award. So what I have decided and talked to All-American Games about, let us do a Genesee County Senior Player of the Year Award, where we will find some of those hidden gems that have some wonderful escalades for this year on and off the field, in the classroom, do a panel, give a big trophy, sponsored by All-American Games for the Player of the Year in Genesee County for the top seniors. And we want to do this every year. But the difference with our trophy is that trophy stays with the kid.
That's amazing.
We don't take it back. It's his. Something to look back on. We want to do this every year and lets everybody know that All-American Games is for the kids, and definitely All-American Games is for Genesee County.
Joe, you brother, you are a true spokesperson. You're doing great things for the community. Thank you for joining the show, bro.
Chad, anytime, reach me.
Recently appointed player development scout for the All-American Games. Well deserved. Joe Trimble, that's my dude. It's time for us to get out of here. Want to give a huge thanks to our guests, of course, Joe, and of course, my man, Mr. Eric Richards. I am your official voice of youth and high school sports, Chad Ricardo. I'll see you next week. Happy birthday, Mom.